2024 seemed to be a fairly slow year for games. I disagree. We still seen a lot of great stuff come out this year. Primarily, I think this was the year we had many RPG games come out, and of course, indie games as well. I had a lot of opportunities to go over my backlog this year. So just like last year, I'm going to go over all the games I played each month throughout this entire year, and share my thoughts on them. I also won't be touching on the games I've already made videos on. Anyways, kicking things off with January. The first game I played for this year was Alan Wake 2. No, I did not play Alan Wake 2 in October of 2023. And this game was one of a kind. Now I like many of Remedy's games, but I personally have mixed feelings on the first Alan Wake. Or really, I think the gameplay side of that game could have used more work. I think the first Alan Wake still had a fascinating story. Alan Wake 2 takes a survival horror approach, but maintains everything that the first game laid out, in terms of story and the twisted reality it's set in. People have already praised the game's visuals and presentation, but I think Alan Wake 2 has one of the most creative narratives, something that Remedy still sticks the landing with. And not just Alan Wake 2, but a lot of other Remedy games have this sort of creativity in them. And I'm glad that Remedy still comes up with creative games like this. Another game I played during this month was Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I don't know how Nintendo does it, but they just know how to make good games. There's so many wild and inventive ideas in Mario Wonder. I didn't think 2D Marios could innovate anymore after New Super Mario Bros. Wii and the release of Mario Maker. It took a while, but now we have Mario Wonder. Very creative levels. Like, I would always make sure I experience each and every Wonder Seed in every level. Just a fantastic game. Also played The Messenger. I wasn't expecting much from this game, but it exceeded my expectations. The game got better the further I got into it. The first half, the game is this 2D 8-bit action platformer. Then you get introduced to this time travel mechanic. And when you travel to the future, the game then becomes this 16-bit action platformer, which is really cool. Then when you get halfway into the game becomes a Metroidvania. I mean, the game continued to get more and more interesting. It's definitely a game worth checking out. For February, first game I played was the Mario RPG remake. So I never played the original RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I did have the game in my SNES backlog, but when they announced the remake, I thought I was better off waiting until I get my hands on the remake. It seemed like a better idea to wait until that releases. And the game is a fairly basic turn-based RPG. I mean, look, even though it's a remake, I still set my standards for this game as an SNES game. And I guess for the time, this game was engaging in comparison to other turn-based RPGs that was around, where all you do is execute a command and that's it. In Mario RPG, you have to time your button inputs to deal the most damage. It's very easy to get into, obviously made to get younger people into RPGs, as it also accomplished for young people back in the day. While I've never played the SNES version of this game, I did hear that one of the best things about this remake was that they removed all the grindy stuff, which I think all RPG remakes should do. Make these games more approachable for those who don't have much time. Another good example is a game called Live Alive, a neat quality of life feature. Also played Sonic Superstars. I'm gonna be honest, if I wasn't tracking all the games I've played throughout the year, I would have forgotten I've played this, which I still did. Now, I didn't want to look up any gameplay to give myself a refresher for this section. I want to speak based off of what I can personally remember about this game. So if I'm honest, the only two stages I can remember was that first stage and that jungle stage. Oh, and the desert one too. Controls were good. I didn't think they were bad. One mechanic that this game had was the fact that the Chaos Emeralds gave you these abilities, which was a neat idea. I like that. But I feel like this was a little poorly executed. I don't think I ever used the Chaos Emerald abilities during the stages. I only recall ever using them during the boss fights. I think there was only one emerald that would unlock a unique pathway, but I think that was it. I don't know, cool idea on paper, but again, poorly executed. I guess to close off on my thoughts on Sonic Superstars, I don't think it's a bad game, but it ain't a good game either. It's pretty mid, and in my opinion, forgettable. It's no Sonic Mania successor, that's for sure. I admire them for trying to make another 2D Sonic game. They did try something new with this game, and I'm sure they wanted it to be as good as Sonic Mania in its own way. I'm just glad I paid 20 bucks for this and not 60. Otherwise, I would have been a lot harsher on this game. Also would have actually remembered it better, but negatively. The game is just bland. There was also Silent Hill: The Short Message. This was okay. I mean, it's nothing special. It's a free short linear game. You're not doing much but walking around, checking your phone. I mean, it's a free 2-hour game. It exists, I guess. And finally, I played Balatro. Let me say, I played this game all day the day I bought it. It can be addicting. Think of those people sitting at the casino all day. That's the Balatro experience. Only difference is, I'm not going broke playing Balatro. It's a very well made game, but be careful when playing it. It might be too good. Entering March, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This was my most anticipated game for the year. I have played the original Final Fantasy VII game, loved it. I like the first Final Fantasy VII Remake. Rebirth is basically part 2 of the base game. And I always wondered how they're going to tackle part 2 of the remake. Because in the original game, the Midgar arc was only like 2 hours long, and the remake took the whole Midgar section and extended it into a full 30-hour game. Now those 30 hours were still great. Interesting how they extended that part of the game. Of course, after Midgar, the game opens up into this open world, and the way they handled this in the remake is pretty much accurate to what I expected. Many activities to do, side missions, everything that an open world needs. And the open world visually looks really good, at least when you're playing in quality mode. But the actual game itself is really good. Combat is improved, story is about what I expect, a little different but still great, very content complete game. This game pretty much covers all of Disc 1 in the original game, and I'm sure Part 3 Remake will cover Disc 2 and Disc 3. Now that may seem like a lot, but in case anyone forgot or never played the original games, but Disc 1 was the longest portion of the original game. Disc 2 is half the length of Disc 1, and Disc 3 is really just the final act of the story. Story-wise, I think Part 3 Remake will be fine, and I'm looking forward to how that turns out. I also played Rainbow Six Siege again to try out the new character Deimos. He was fun, and also played Helldivers 2 with my buddies whenever we could. Such a fun co-op game. I hope they eventually add new enemy factions to the game, because I think that's what the game needs the most. I think we have enough guns and skins. I want to see some new enemies. Because currently that's what this game is lacking, enemy variety. But I really enjoyed Helldivers 2. Fun game to play with the boys. After finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, had a window to go through my backlog. One game that I had that's really up there is Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, I've never played Banjo-Kazooie. Now I have. Great 3D platformer. I find it smaller in comparison to Mario 64. Only complaint I have is Grunty's Furnace Fun. Who would have thought a game would throw a test at you at the very end of the game? And if you don't answer the questions correctly, you don't progress. You have to start all over. I was able to go through it thanks to a cheat sheet, but I can't help but think about the kid that had to go through this back in 1998. Poor guy. Also played Doom 3, the BFG edition specifically. I have played the original Doom 3 like a long time ago, but I never played the BFG edition, which is different than the original Doom. Really, the BFG edition was an easier game. Also, you don't have to carry the flashlight. Again, it's been a while since I played Doom 3, and the last game I played in April was Deadpool. I think you can guess why I played this game during this month. And yes, it was because of the new Deadpool and Wolverine film. This game was fun. Kinda forgot how short it was too. Definitely deserves a re-release. Come to think of it, I think it did at some point. In the month of May, I played Pentiment. This is a game by Obsidian, and while this doesn't seem to look interesting, it is from Obsidian. And since I enjoy a lot of Obsidian's games because they make great RPGs, I decided to give Pentiment a shot. So it took me some time, but I did get hooked into this game's story. I mean, the visuals were already captivating. I think it took about halfway into chapter 1 for the plot and drama to start. And I think I became fully invested in the story by, I'd say, around halfway into Act 2, and it was a really great narrative game. This is a game where your choices matter, your relationship between other characters contributes to how the story will play out. It's a game where your decisions matter. Pretty surprised on how much I enjoyed this game. It might be one of the best narrative games out there that, tragically, no one else will ever play. Understandably, this isn't a game for everyone. I was optimistic about it myself, but I'm always open-minded to try out new stuff, and I'm glad I tried this one out. A shame not everyone's gonna enjoy this. It's probably one of Obsidian's best games that no one will care enough to play it. I'm glad to be among those people that played it though. After Pentiment, I played Marvel's Midnight Suns. So I bought this game when I saw the Ultimate Edition on sale for like 25 or 30 bucks, and I thought that was a steal. So I decided to get it. Now, I'm pretty sure people were underwhelmed by this game being a card game, and for those of you who don't know, this game was developed by the studio behind the XCOM games, Firaxis. The XCOM games were these tactical turn-based games, very unique turn-based games. Maybe not unique, but for its kind, it was very popular. When people heard that Firaxis was making a Marvel game, I'm sure they were expecting a Marvel game similar to XCOM. Nope, they got a card game. But I've played and enjoyed card games before, so I'm willing to play this. And I liked it. It's actually pretty easy to get into. There is some strategy going on during these card battles, and as missions get harder and harder, it really makes you think how you should structure your deck. What cards would be more useful. And there's also a day-to-day system, similar to what Persona has. Forming friendships with other characters allows you to get legendary abilities and suits for each of those characters. In fact, a giant chunk of this game is you having these filler conversations with these characters. And there's also the hangouts. I remember around 16 hours into this game, I started skipping a lot of these conversations because I wanted to get back into the main plot. As for the main plot of the game, I thought it was good. It got me interested from the start to the end. I guess my problem with this game is there's a lot of filler dialogue. There are other missions you can do so you can save up and upgrade characters. Those I didn't mind. I don't count that as filler content. It's just there's a lot of things here that are a little irrelevant. Like they don't contribute to the story. This game does make me want to see more Marvel RPGs. DC too. Yes, this is technically one, but it's a card game. Not a bad one, but I want to see a Marvel RPG that's not a card game. Good game though. Finally for May is X Defiant. I had my fun in this game for about a couple days. I know this game was made by many X Infinity Ward devs. No specific game, but X Defiant's UI reminds me of COD Ghost UI. But man, I remember the netcode for this game being really bad. Game was also too grindy. Don't remember much from the game since I only played it for a couple of days. Not saying I hated it, it's just these games aren't really for me anymore. I'm kinda sick of these live service games now. I mean, I enjoyed Helldivers too, but that was actually something new. Like, new. Only played X Defiant because it was free, so, you know, why not? Playing this game did make me miss the Tom Clancy games. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but this may be my only chance to talk about it. Something about these new Tom Clancy games just isn't the same. It's like they aren't cool anymore. It's a shame because I remember Tom Clancy being a really cool military universe. The problem with Tom Clancy games today is that they're playing it too safely. And also the new games they release are just bland, which is now something we know Ubisoft for. Like, I wish Ghost Recon would go back to being a linear game. Kinda want a Rainbow Six narrative. I remember when they revealed Deimos, seeing the trailers they put out for him, his backstory, and I remember thinking, damn, this guy is cool. They could use this guy to be a villain in a standalone game. That would be cool, but let's be honest, that's never gonna happen. Also, I think I remember reading articles on how Ubisoft isn't gonna be using the Tom Clancy trademark anymore, or that might only be the case for X Defiant specifically. I don't remember. But I miss the Tom Clancy universe. I miss when it had something going on. Again, I feel like the games are just too safe. Anyways, that was my small rant. Let's move on. In June, I played NES Zelda for the first time. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I did try my best to play this game blind, but I constantly got lost or stuck. So I did use a walkthrough to help me beat it. Which, look, kids also did it back then with their Nintendo Power magazines. But the game was pretty good. Not sure if I ever mentioned this ever, but I'm really unfamiliar with Zelda games. I haven't played all of them, but I want to play more of the series. I have played Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and Ocarina of Time. At some point I want to play A Link to the Past, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and many others. But those 3 games I listed are priority. Of course, I'll get to them when the time comes and when I'm in the mood. Replayed Gears of War, I'm sure you can take a guess on why. Game still holds up, aside from the visual filter. Then I played Blasphemous. This game is a Metroidvania, but it has combat that takes inspiration from the Souls games, which is how I would summarize this game. Game is very religious themed. Many of the areas have great pixel art. I will say one area that I did not enjoy was this snowy area. I think it was called the Graveyard of the Peaks. At some point in this area you have to climb up these mountains, but there's this wind mechanic that can knock you off and kill you. I can't remember if it can kill you. Forcing me to wait until the wind clears. This is the only area I remember not liking, but I do remember really enjoying the rest of the game. I enjoyed a lot of the boss fights. Combat makes every fight engaging. You have to be quick and precise most of the time. Now, whenever I think about Metroidvanias, or at least the best Metroidvanias, I think this game does deserve to be one of those amongst the others of the genre. After finishing Blasphemous, I played another indie game called Talos Principle. Talos Principle is a first-person puzzle game. Now look, I don't like puzzle games, except maybe Portals 1 and 2, but that's it. Puzzle games just aren't for me. But I heard this game was really good, maybe even as good as Portal. So, as open-minded as I am, I gave it a shot. Many of the puzzles were fun to solve. I mean, really the first ones. Many made my head hurt, but throughout solving all these puzzles, you also read and listen about the game's plot. Talos Principle gives you different perspectives of historical and modern philosophy that I think should be experienced blind. It definitely took me by surprise on how interesting it got. I'm still thinking about this game months after beating it. And when the time comes, I will be playing the second Talos Principle. As someone who does not like puzzle games, give this one a chance. After Talos Principle, Daxter got re-released for the PS5. Daxter was one of my favorite games on the PSP, so when it got to the PS5, I decided to replay it, and also got the platinum for the game. Story doesn't seem necessary in the Jak and Daxter timeline, but the game has a lot of great ideas. And for a PSP game, the graphics still look good. I still like this game. And for the rest of July, I played Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door for the first time. Never played any Paper Mario game. Only Mario RPG games I've played was Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Superstars. And of course, the RPG remake I mentioned earlier. Again, never played any of the Paper Mario RPGs, but I did admire their charm. My experience with the Thousand Year Door remake was positive. I liked the combat system, I thought the story was fun, creative traversal in some areas, because this is a world of paper, characters are all interesting. I really enjoyed it. I've never played the GameCube version, so I have no idea what they improved on other than the visuals. But like every other Mario RPG game, this one was easy to get into. While Bowser's Inside Story was still my personal favorite, I still really like this one. I put it as my second favorite Mario RPG game. In August, I played many shooters like Quake 2 and Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered, playing the Night Dive versions of both of these games. I think Night Dive makes great ports and remasters, and these two played great. Star Wars Dark Forces was alright. I suppose it hasn't aged that well, but it's not bad. I think it's a good thing that we have a modern way to play this game now. I also liked all the behind the scenes stuff that they included in this game. I'm hoping that one day Night Dive also does a remaster on Star Wars Dark Forces 2. And Quake 2, I actually played this game a lot on my Steam Deck. This was my go-to shooter on the go. The fast action that Quake 2 offers does not let up. Gunplay feels satisfying, visuals are updated, improved controls, just another great remaster. Also around this time, Doom 1 and 2 got another re-release, or the games were just merged together. I also played these, or at least only played Doom 1. It's another great game to play for the Steam Deck. I really appreciate how bite-sized Doom is, which is what makes it a great game to play on a handheld. And despite how old this game is, it's still fun to play. Doom is definitely a timeless game. I didn't play Doom 2. I'll probably play that when I travel again, because after playing these 3 games straight, even though they were both fairly short, I felt like playing something else. The last game I played throughout the rest of August is Chained Echoes. I've wanted to play this game for a long time. Chained Echoes is a 16-bit SNES style RPG set in some fantasy world that has people using swords, magic, and mech suits. If I'm honest, when I saw this game had mech suits to pilot and fight with, that alone sold me on the game. I just thought that was cool. And for the game itself, I mean, I'm still thinking about it from time to time to this day. Combat is interesting. There's this overdrive mechanic where you need to manage the skills you use to balance the overdrive bar, which will determine how effective your attacks will be. There's no XP leveling up system, instead you just unlock skills. The only con about Chained Echoes is the difficulty. Now thankfully you can change it, but there were bosses that had quite a difficulty spike. This game wasn't a 2024 release, but it's definitely one of my favorite games that I've played this year from my backlog. They also just so happen to have announced DLC as of making this video, which is fantastic. Very much looking forward to that. Alright, coming into September, Astrobot. I was honestly a little skeptical about this game, but after playing it, it's definitely my game of the year. This game was very refreshing to play, especially with these days with all these never-ending live service games that just keep getting thrown at us. Live service games being developed by hundreds upon hundreds of devs with crazy high expectations. But Astrobot was made with just a small team, and ends up being one of the best games I've seen and played this year. As you may already know, Astrobot is a 3D platformer. Gameplay leans more on the Mario Sunshine side. Your task is to rescue all the other bots and repair your PS5 ship. And actually, fun fact, when I booted this game up for the first time, my PS5, like my actual console, crashed during the cutscene where your PS5 ship crashes. Which I didn't expect to happen. Anyways, Astrobot features levels that pays homage to previous PlayStation IP. And these levels were my favorite. I don't want to spoil much of those, but they put a lot of heart into this. I loved Astrobot. I even platinumed the game. Maybe game of the year for me. Hopefully Sony gets pushed to make more genuine games like this. And then there's Cocoon, a short linear puzzle game. This game has great atmosphere. Puzzles in this game are very mind-bending, especially near the end. Also, maybe make sure this is the only game you're playing. In this game, you're going to be traveling within one world orb, into another world, inside of another world. And if you do stop playing for a certain amount of time, you will likely come back being completely lost. Decent game though. That's another puzzle game I liked. It's also short, like around 4 to 5 hours. And the last game I played this month is Manhunt. I've played Manhunt before. This is just a replay through. I was just thinking about this game this month. Did I think about playing it in October? I just felt like playing it in that moment. Manhunt is really unique. Again, this is another game with amazing atmosphere and incredibly violent. So violent that it's very likely never gonna get re-released. Which is a shame because I think this is one of Rockstar's best games. If you ever get a chance to play it, do try it out if you're into horror games. Not sure about the average gamer, you probably won't like this. But again, for horror fans, I highly recommend this game. Alright, this month had a couple of large releases that I was able to play, and many that I wasn't able to play. First game for October is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Hands down, one of the best Dragon Ball games you can play right now. The fighting is just fantastic, each match is exciting. Game does not pull any punches when you start. I think the Vegeta fight proves that. I struggled in many battles, but after spending some time in the training mode, game eventually clicked for me. Story mode has these what-if scenarios that I found pretty interesting, although I'm not a fan of these slideshow cutscenes, and I wonder if this was a corner they had to cut while developing this game. But at least the fighting animations are top notch. I had so much fun with Sparking Zero, played a lot of it, did return to games like Balatro and Vampire Survivors throughout this month, until Black Ops 6 released. So, Black Ops 6. I thought the campaign was good, although I personally think it's a little overrated. Still really good, I'm not shitting on it, but again, overrated in my opinion. It also might be the easiest COD to do a veteran playthrough on, especially since there's a lot of stealth segments in this game. Multiplayer, I did play about a solid 5 to 6 matches. It's fun, but with CODs these days, I enjoy the multiplayer for a while, then they become plagued by about week 2 or 3. So I'm sure by the time this video's out, the game is probably plagued by hackers, or there's a bunch of goofy skins that breaks the immersion. That's a shame. And for zombies, I actually liked zombies. Zombies this year was very well made. I did both Liberty Falls and Terminus Easter eggs. In terms of story, I have no idea what's going on. I jumped the zombies Easter egg ship after Revelations from Black Ops 3. I did also play Black Ops 4 Zombies, but only completed that one Gladiator Arena map. What was it called? 9? Haven't tried out the new map for Black Ops 6. I'm hoping the future zombies maps throughout this next year don't get lazy. I'm hopeful that the quality maintains, but I have my doubts. Zombies might be the only thing I'll come back to for Black Ops 6 in the future. Not interested in multiplayer or Warzone. I kinda jumped ship from COD like a long time ago. I've accepted that these new CODs just aren't for me anymore. I'll still play them if they turn out good. And you know the best part about COD now is that I don't have to pay $70 to play them anymore. The last game I played during October was Sonic X Shadow Generations. I know I did a video on this already, but there's something I want to add. I got all the achievements for this game. This was my first Sonic game where I've gone full completionist. I don't do this often, and that is saying something about this game. Getting all the achievements for this game wasn't as bad as I thought it was. There was 5 that gave me a struggle. There's the 2 final boss achievements where you have to beat them without getting hit. There's the machine part achievement where you have to collect all the machine parts. That was a struggle. Finding my last 5 parts got really frustrating. Even after keeping track of where I'm collecting these, knowing that this was going to happen, and it still happened, I could not find the last 5. I spent a while finding the last 5 machine parts. Really frustrating. I was still able to find it though. The same goes for the collection box achievement, then the red ring achievement, specifically for the classic Sonic side, and that's about it. But fully completing this game wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Great game. Really enjoyed fully completing it, regardless of the collecting frustration I had with it. Alright, November. I got to play the remake of Silent Hill 2. I have never beaten the original game. I only played the original game for an hour, and when I was playing the original game, days later the remake got announced. So I completely halted my playthrough of the original game. I didn't get far in that original game. I got to the point where the little girl whose name was Laura kicked the key away from you, and that's it. I just stopped right there, because I heard that there was a remake being developed. And while this game was coming out, the trailers weren't looking too good, specifically on the gameplay side of things. And adding on to that, the game was being developed by Bloober Team, a studio that doesn't have a good track record, at least at the time. But thankfully, everything turned out great when the game launched. Bloober proved us all wrong. We had our doubts, but they completely nailed it. One of the biggest improvements is of course the gameplay. It is very Resident Evil-like, but I mean it is better than the old control scheme. Will I ever play the original? Maybe one day. I am curious on the differences. I've also already played the PS1 Silent Hill game, and I remember being surprised how good the controls were. I think Silent Hill 1 deserves the remake treatment more than Silent Hill 2, but I guess Konami wanted to bang on Silent Hill 2's reputation. Next game was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So we all know Ubisoft's reputation is all the way down to the ground. But Lost Crown was actually pretty good. It's not stale, not the same open world they've been releasing the past decade. It is a Metroidvania, and a good one at that. It has great combat, fun platforming and exploration, boss fight design on par to Metroid Dread, and a good story. The game wasn't bad, it was good. This is an actual game. A real game that Ubisoft has put out in a long time. And no one cared about it. Which, to be fair, I also didn't care about it either. When this game was coming out, I think literally the week it was releasing, I think Ubisoft said to the public, and I quote, "Get used to not owning your games," which I'm sure led to a lot of people canceling their pre-orders for this game. I also had my eye on this game. But when they said this, I also lost all interest. It was also $60 for a Metroidvania. Nah, I ain't paying $60 for that. Now after some time passed, word on this game was starting to gain momentum. The price also dropped, so I did cave in and bought it. Apparently they did put actual effort into this game, and they did. So I bought the game on sale, beat it, enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. They really did make a good game. A shame it sold poorly. They're one good game in a long time, but I guess there's nothing we can do anymore. They shut down the studio that made it. I mean, that's what you get for saying this. Real tragic. Last game for November is Donkey Kong Country, the SNES game. Very fast-paced platformer. This was my first time playing this game. It's good. Game does get hard towards the end. I am planning on playing the SNES Donkey Kong trilogy, so I'll be playing 2 and 3 soon. Looking forward to playing those. I do see myself replaying Donkey Kong Country to try and get 100% on it, because I think these types of games are fun to 100%. Finally, December. I did play Marvel Rivals. The quality of this game is incredible. Not to mention this game had no problems at all at launch. Like the game runs smooth, no lag. It was a perfect launch. Don't know how long I'm going to be playing this, but I'm really enjoying it. And one thing I want to say, I hate that games with this art style is only used to make live service games. I want to see a content complete game with this level of quality. And the game I'm currently playing is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I haven't beaten this one yet, but I'm liking it so far. And after I beat Indiana Jones, I plan on playing Metaphor ReFantagio for the rest of the year. And probably early next year, cause games like this are long. But I don't mind, cause I like RPGs. Alright, so those were the games I played in 2024. So which one was my game of the year? I want to say Final Fantasy Rebirth, but there's something about making a remake game of the year just doesn't seem right. Same goes for Silent Hill 2. I enjoyed these two, but they're remakes. I did have a lot of playtime with Sparking Zero. Helldivers 2 was a lot of fun with friends. But you know what? I think my game of the year might be Astrobot. Loved this game. I know you can compare it to any 3D Mario, and yes, I guess 3D Mario games are better in comparison, but this game has so much heart. I did also consider Balatro, since I have a lot of playtime in this game as well, but I think Astrobot gained extra points for being the only new game I took the time to platinum, and had a lot of fun doing that platinum. But I think Balatro is also a decent game of the year contender. So yeah, that's my game of the year. Alright, so that's it. Video's over. I'm going to take this time to give you an update on the channel. So I'm reflecting on this year, and I gotta be honest, I wish I uploaded more. I had many videos I wanted to make, but just didn't get to. And some videos I feel like I could have done better. I am still going to upload for next year, but unfortunately, I don't know how consistent I'll be. I am going to try something new for next year. I'll still do the quick reviews, whether it's on a new game or old, and also covering old retro games. And actually, I really enjoy doing those retro game videos. Those videos I have a lot of fun putting together. But I also want to touch on new types of videos to branch out on, that I'm also having fun making. Well, that's going to be it for this one. Also, feel free to share what your game of the year was. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching, and a happy new year to everyone.